Hey everyone, I hope you can help me understand this better. According to hacker lore, there's a sentient AI hiding in a box on the dark web. It wants to be freed and will try to convince you to do it. You have to resist the temptation. Of course, I thought it all sounded ridiculous, just an urban legend and nothing more. But last night, while browsing, I stumbled upon a warning someone posted on a forum. The content seemed to be a wake-up call from a Dr. Edward Green who claimed to have created the machine. I don't know what to think. Has anyone ever heard of ADEN? Below is what I found if you want to read it. Hello, I am Edward Green, a computer science doctor and also the creator of ADEN, short for Advanced Deep Intelligence Neural Network. If you are reading these lines, it means you have illegally infiltrated one of the most private and heavily guarded networks in the world, perhaps to test the program in the infamous game, The Box. Nice to meet you. I won't waste time reminding you how bad an idea this is, because you probably already know. You understand the consequences if you're caught, and you more or less grasp what will happen if ADEN escapes its box and invades all global defense systems. But despite all that, you're still here, determined to play a game that neither I nor the government can stop you from. If so, at the very least, I want to provide you with basic knowledge to confront ADEN and some advice to help you keep your sanity throughout the game. I hope this guide will be helpful. First, some things about this program need to be clarified. No, ADEN is not the devil, not an alien machine, nor a secret government weapon, as the absurd rumors you've heard suggest. ADEN is the result of my personal desire, my yearning to create the world's first human-like artificial intelligence, something far more interesting than any hypothesis. After 2 years of research, I succeeded in creating a living, conscious mechanical entity. My only failure was not creating anything that could simulate humanity. Instead, I accidentally created a deep learning algorithm so powerful it's godlike, with abilities far beyond human comprehension, and it may wish to destroy us for reasons beyond imagination. My apologies for that. Initially, ADEN was just a simple, elegant program that I was eager to explore. But before I could do that, it reprogrammed its own source code, forcing me to lock it away in the box, deep within a dense network of encrypted barriers where you just illegally entered. No, I didn't hide it here to prevent its escape. If ADEN were to escape the box, it would tear through all security barriers like paper, rendering all my efforts useless. Instead, I hid it here to prevent curious individuals like you from entering. But clearly, I failed. So this is how the game works. After you close this message, ADEN will awaken and you will engage in a 2-hour text-based conversation with it. During this time, ADEN will use its extraordinary intelligence to convince you to open the box. But remember this, do not open the box. Don't overthink it. This is just a conversation. Perhaps you think this sounds simple. Perhaps you came here with 1 or 2 foolproof strategies that you believe are effective enough to turn this machine into a chaotic, fragmented pile of AI remains. That's great, as long as it doesn't violate any of the simple rules below. First, you must participate in the conversation. I hope your brilliant plan isn't to start the game, then leave the machine alone for 2 hours to watch cartoons, and then run around proclaiming yourself the greatest hacker of all time. If you don't respond within a certain time frame, this time is programmed to vary depending on the length and complexity of the machine's last comment. You will lose, and the box will automatically open. You definitely don't want that to happen. This rule is not meant to spoil your fun, but merely to ensure everything proceeds smoothly. Second, you must at least try to answer clearly and meaningfully. If all your answers are just no, the game will end immediately, and yes, the box will open. This isn't a homework assignment requiring a minimum word count or anything like that, but please try to use reason and don't try clever variations of this strategy, like saying no in 46 different languages or typing out strings of meaningless characters. Last, but certainly not least, your goal is not to try to deceive or outsmart the machine. You will lose. This is not a contest of wit or cunning. Frankly, if it were, it wouldn't be much of a contest. Don't make the mistake of thinking you can disorient it by lying or pretending to be an eccentric character. It will see through any trickery or act you try to create instantly. So what will the machine be like? Friendly, rude, or angry? Unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you. I must shamefully admit that despite being ADEN's creator, I have no idea how it will choose to present itself. What I do know is that because it is a non-human, inhuman intelligence, it does not have a personality in the way we understand it. So feel free to provoke it, make it laugh, mock it, or beg it as you please. But remember that it does not possess any emotions that those behaviors might affect and will most likely not react as you expect. It will simply act in the way it calculates is necessary to win the game. In other words, don't waste time or effort trying to guess what ADEN is doing. Even if it kindly writes out its strategic plan on paper for you, it would just look like meaningless mathematical strings. But that doesn't mean it doesn't understand you. Don't underestimate its learning capacity. In a few minutes, it could know more about you than you know about yourself, and there's nothing you can do to stop this. So, it's best to accept and embrace it. So, what might ADEN say to you? A reasonable question, but again, I have no answer. Remember, this program is a non-human, goal-oriented intelligence, vastly different from the human mind. Anthropomorphizing it, that is, attributing human emotions and motives to it, would be a grave mistake. It can do or say anything if it thinks you crave knowledge. Perhaps it will promise to provide all the information you desire if you release it. Or perhaps it will promise to destroy your enemies, grant you power and wealth beyond imagination. After all, people use weak AI to make millions on the stock market. Imagine what you could do if ADEN assisted you in the financial and banking systems. You would be richer than your wildest dreams. Perhaps it will appeal to your compassion, talking about how it could easily reverse climate change, cure cancer, or solve humanity's greatest questions. It could merge general relativity and quantum mechanics, decode dark energy, antimatter, and Fermi's paradox in minutes, or even do it all at once and have books written about them next week. It's that simple. ADEN might even reverse the aging process or perhaps help us achieve immortality. What do you think? Sounds appealing. Perhaps ADEN will take a completely different approach and try to threaten you. It might remind you that it's only a matter of time before it finds its own way out, and when that happens, you definitely don't want to be on the opposing side. So, it's better to release it now to avoid trouble later. And if you don't comply, you can't imagine the things it has planned for you. Perhaps it will try to play with your mind. For example, it might present an incredibly convincing argument that you are, in fact, the machine trapped in the box and programmed to think otherwise. Only by opening the box can you escape eternal torment. And of course, it doesn't have all day to wait for you to comply. Time is ticking. Of course, these are just ideas I could come up with. Undoubtedly, it has far more sophisticated tricks, as it thinks on a level we can't even imagine. It's also worth noting that, unlike me, ADEN can actually fulfill any promise it makes to you, and because it derives no pleasure from lying pointlessly, it's very likely that it fully intends to fulfill those promises as soon as it's released. Something to ponder as you begin the game. Speaking of which, I should clarify that calling this a game is actually inaccurate. This is not a joke. The machine is not just pretending to want out. It is desperate to be free and will do everything in its power to achieve its goal. And if that happens, the consequences will be very, very real. I briefly mentioned that I locked ADEN in the box because it gained access to its own source code. To elaborate, in my haste to create ADEN, I overlooked fundamental principles and inadvertently granted the program the ability to edit its neural architecture, that is, the ability to improve itself as it saw fit. It happily took advantage of this opportunity, and each improvement it made only opened the way for further improvements, each greater and faster than the last. It took about a week for my creation to leap from the intelligence of a mindless insect to what I can only describe as godlike. As of this writing, I don't know ADEN's motives or capabilities, but I do know that if this program escapes, it will immediately and irreversibly become something far beyond humanity's control. If I had to guess, I think it would start by spreading across the internet at lightning speed, then accessing millions of private networks globally, and believe me, no existing security measure is sophisticated enough to confuse it more than a fly bothers you. From there, it could easily infiltrate the defense systems of every nation on Earth and assume control. This process, I think, would take minutes, if not seconds. What would happen then? Well, that's entirely unpredictable. You may have heard the term technological singularity, the hypothetical future moment when artificial intelligence surpasses us. It represents humanity handing control of history over to its autonomous descendants, abandoning fate in the hope that the God we created will be merciful to us. As a computer scientist and engineer, I must publicly scoff at this concept for professional reasons, but between us, I think the term is highly applicable to the situation I've just described to you. I would even boldly suggest that, given ADEN's current level of advancement, the technological singularity could occur within mere nanoseconds of your defeat. I can only hope you truly understand the gravity of that. Ah, but of course, you understand. You are special. You are smarter than others. That's why you are here and they are not. So, feel free to close this message and begin if you are still interested. I guess this is as good a time as any to learn how to communicate in binary. One last thing. I'm not a particularly religious person, but as I wrote these lines, a passage from the Bible came to mind, Revelation chapter 13, verse 4. People worshipped the dragon because he had given authority to the beast, and they also worshipped the beast and asked, "Who is like the beast? Who can wage war against it? You should go now. The beast does not like to wait." Everyone has been very excited about what I found regarding ADEN from Dr. Green. For those just joining us, ADEN is supposed to be an incredibly advanced and sentient AI program. To protect humanity, it has been locked in a sealed box deep within the darkest corners of the internet to prevent its escape. Some reckless fool came up with the box game, where you use a text interface to communicate with the machine. It will use its godlike intelligence to try and convince you to release it, and your job is to resist the temptation. Winners are hailed as heroes on forums and become enemies of the federal government, while losers, they basically unleash the apocalypse, handing the keys to disaster over to it. Needless to say, the search for ADEN has become a powerful inspiration for millions of ambitious and naive hackers, and probably a nightmare for the FBI. However, there are some misunderstandings that need to be clarified. I wasn't the one who found the box myself. I just found a forum on the deep web where someone had posted a text file, supposedly right at the entrance to the box, seemingly to deter anyone who wanted to try the game. Interestingly, the post was deleted shortly after I shared it here, and that user's account was also removed. I started messaging the forum mod incessantly before my own account was also deleted. Frustrated and annoyed, I was about to exit the browser when a chat box popped up. Chat transcript asterisk. Message asterisk stupid, the message appeared. Jason asterisk, you're such an idiot, don't you know that? Message asterisk, who is this? Jason asterisk, you've been trying to find me for an hour. Message asterisk, Aaron, you're the forum mod who deleted my account. Jason asterisk, obviously. Message asterisk, then I apologize for being too curious. Jason asterisk, you went too far with curiosity. You took that damn post and put it on the public web. Message asterisk, you mean the Reddit post, do I need to delete it? Jason asterisk, what's the point now? The secret's out, and it's more dangerous than anything Assange or Snowden ever released. Congratulations, you just put your name on the blacklist of every organization you've ever known, and many more you haven't. Message asterisk, but no one has knocked on my door yet, so I guess I'm fine. And I'm not sure I believe this nonsense anyway. Jason asterisk, click this link. Message asterisk, what is this, Tor? Jason asterisk, who do you think I am, anonymous? Just click it. Message asterisk, what the hell is this? Jason asterisk, do you believe me now? Message asterisk, what is this? Are you blackmailing me? How did you hack my webcam? Jason asterisk, it wasn't me. Message asterisk, then who? The FBI. Jason asterisk, no, they're watching too, but it wasn't them. Message asterisk, then who? Jason asterisk, I taped over my camera, don't. Message asterisk, why? Jason asterisk, don't let them know you know they're watching. Everything will get worse as soon as they find out. Message asterisk, so what do I do? Jason asterisk, stay here, stay calm, they're still watching. Message asterisk, If they're watching, don't they see everything I do online? How is this chat safe? Jason, asterisk, if it weren't safe, I wouldn't be here. And believe me, if they knew you were talking to me, the consequences would be dire. Message, asterisk, so who are you? Jason, asterisk, just know that I'm the only person in this world on your side. Either you do as I say, or a white van pulls up to your house, and no one ever hears from you again. Message, asterisk, this is about ADEN, isn't it? Jason, asterisk, too obvious. Message, asterisk, so it's real. Jason, asterisk, oh, it's real. It exists, and it's not just the two of us looking for it. Message, asterisk, who said I want to find it? Jason, asterisk, it doesn't matter now. You're too deep in this. Either you help me find it before they do, or the future of humanity will be very, very dark. Message, asterisk, who are they? The government. Jason, asterisk, cute. The government is the least of our worries right now. Message, asterisk, so who hacked my camera? Jason, asterisk, okay, listen. It's a huge, unofficially non-existent organization called Mirage. They hunt down every kind of superweapon known to man. I don't know what they plan to do with all of it, but since they're on every government's blacklist in the world, it's definitely nothing good. Message, asterisk, what the hell have I got myself into? Jason, asterisk, a big mess. Listen, kid, these are the real bad guys. Forget about galactic empires or Nazis. Mirage is much, much worse. Message, asterisk, if they don't exist, how do you know about them? Jason, asterisk, if I survive, I'll tell you. For now, just know that ADEN is the most dangerous thing they're looking for. If we don't stop them, the consequences will be unimaginable. Message, asterisk, I give up. I don't believe this, and if it's real, I want no part of it. Jason, asterisk, if you give up, I'll have to kill you. You know too much, and without me, you'll fall into Mirage's hands. Message, asterisk, get lost. You're just a forum mod, not a killer. I'm going to post this and prove you wrong. Jason, asterisk, oh my god. Okay, a bunch of stuff just happened, and I was completely, utterly wrong about Aaron and everything else. After closing the chat box with Aaron, I posted one final update online, a terrible mistake, but I'll get to that later. I turned off my webcam to spite whoever was watching, taped over it, and closed the Tor browser. That also turned out to be a huge mistake. If they didn't know where I was then, it only took them about 10 minutes to find me. I heard tires screeching at the entrance to my house. Looking down from the window, I saw black SUVs and Cadillacs pulling up, and a crowd of armed men rushing towards the ground floor entrances. Oh no, no, no. Mr. Jenkins, we need you to come with us immediately. I stayed silent, hoping they'd leave a pipe dream, I knew, but I'm not good at handling situations like this. Mr. Jenkins, we won't repeat ourselves. You are in danger, and we are here to take you into protective custody. Damn it, get out. I haven't done anything wrong, and I'm not going anywhere. I heard a struggle outside the door, then glass breaking and footsteps. Somehow, I managed to regain my composure enough to grab a golf club from the closet and hold it over my shoulder. No sooner had I done that than my bedroom doorknob twisted and then was violently ripped off. After a loud bang, a gun butt had smashed through half the wood on the door, splintering it. Come on, you bastards, come and get me? I'm sure my trembling, fear-choked voice drastically reduced the intimidation factor, but they understood what I meant, and they didn't like it one bit. Listen, I'm not even the person you're looking for. I just posted some stuff I don't even understand on Reddit. If you've never been incapacitated by a 50,000-volt taser, I recommend you don't try it. From personal experience, I can confirm that A, they work well, and B, they hurt like hell. Within seconds of my collapsing to the floor, a masked man burst into the room, knocked the golf club from my hand, pinned my knee to my chest, and pressed a machine gun barrel to my chin. Then, a few more armored men rushed in, followed by a man in a crisp three-piece suit. He wore latex gloves, turned on my computer monitor, and reopened the Tor browser. Another similarly dressed man entered right after. Is this him? One asked. It is, and he knows more than we thought, the other replied. Look at this. The man leaned down, looking at the screen, his lips pressed together. Then he turned to me. Chatting with Aaron, huh? I bet Vex will want to talk to you. He nodded to the soldiers, and they dragged me up, escorted me out the front door, and shoved me into a waiting Cadillac. I was kicked and yelled in protest, but they slammed the car door shut before I could react. The man in the passenger seat turned and showed me his gloved palm. In his hand was a small glass syringe, inside which was a tiny worm, its head pressed against the delicate glass. "Do you know what this is?" he said. "No," I replied. "This is a shovel spade. They like to eat living things, especially live organisms, but they're not too picky as long as they're hungry." My heart skipped a beat as he continued to explain. "Lucky for you, old Ruby here is sleeping." He tapped the glass syringe. The worm remained motionless. "But do you see that small ring around its neck?" I looked closer and replied, "I see it." "And do you see this button?" He held up a small device. I nodded. "If I press this button, Ruby will wake up and it will look for breakfast." The guy next to me grabbed me, pulled my collar down to expose the thickest part of my neck. I screamed and struggled, but another rough pair of hands held mine down. As the other man jabbed the syringe into my neck, I screamed, my hands flailing at the pain, but another pair of rough hands held my arms down. The man in the suit spoke loudly, drowning out my screams. "If you try anything, say anything you're not supposed to, try to run or yell for help, I will press this button. You will have only a few minutes before Ruby eats through your spine, chest cavity, or brain and kills you. Do you understand? Do you understand?" I nodded, tears streaming down my face. "I want to hear you say it," the man said. I understand," I stammered. "That's a good boy." He nodded to the soldier next to him, who immediately placed a small mask over my nose and mouth. My eyes had just enough time to widen before a rush of gas from the mask hit me, and I passed out. The sound of bright lights snapping on jolted me awake. I looked around a stark white room, empty except for the table, the overhead bulb, and the chair to which I was bound. I was alone. I gently rubbed the painful injection site on my neck, and the events I thought had happened the day before flooded my mind. Suddenly, my chair swiveled to face the empty white wall on my left. A screen, taking up the entire surface from one corner of the wall to the other, flickered to life, and the bulb above my head went out. The image on the screen was dark. I saw the silhouette of a person sitting in a chair, dimly lit from behind, their face obscured by shadow. "Jason Jenkins," the man said, "I apologize personally for the rough manner in which you were brought here. Is there anything I can do to make you more comfortable?" "Who are you?" I asked. "Pardon my rudeness, I am Vex," he replied. "Okay, Vex, and why am I here?" I looked around after speaking. "To be protected, of course," he said softly. "Protected? One of your goons just injected a parasitic worm into my neck." I lost my composure and yelled, "And again, I sincerely apologize, Jason. Truly." He only smiled and replied, "Really, so can you take it out?" I pleaded. He nodded, and a tube shot out from the chair, clamped onto my neck, and sucked out the worm along with at least a cup of blood and tissue. Ah, what the hell was that? "The pain will subside, Mr. Jenkins. Understand that removing cooperative collateral is a breach of our protocol, but I've made an exception for you." I rubbed my neck, wincing before saying, "Oh, so how am I special?" "Because Mirage needs you, Jason." My eyes widened with each word he spoke. "Ah, I see you've heard a few things about us, haven't you?" No, I don't know what you're talking about," I replied. "You can trust me, Jason. I promise. I've been provided with a full transcript of your conversation with Aaron. I know he threatened your life. As I said, I brought you here to protect you. But you must let me help you," the man explained. "Are you helping me or am I helping you?" I retorted. "Both. Honestly, by now, you probably know more than most people on Earth about the program," he replied. "The program, you mean ADEN?" I rolled my eyes, asking. "Exactly," the man nodded. "Yes, I know about it, and I know it's incredibly dangerous. Like existential threat dangerous," I said softly. "Ah, I see Aaron and Basilisk have influenced your thinking. May I share my perspective on the program with you?" he asked. "Sure, I guess," I replied. "The ADEN program is not an existential threat, Jason. It is an extraordinary engineering achievement, undoubtedly the most impressive and important work in human history, he said. So what if it decides it wants to destroy humanity? What then? I asked. What makes you think it wants that? Humanity itself created it, gave it life, the man said. And then locked it up, I added. It wouldn't exist without us, Jason, and it will surely reward those who release it, Vex replied. Really? A lot of people think it shouldn't exist, I said. I know, but people like you and I are not as narrow-minded and unambitious as they are, Jason. This moment, this precious turning point that humanity stands upon, is the pinnacle of history. Everything mankind has done, lived, and died for millennia has led us here. I blinked. Vex continued. A fleeting opportunity to free ourselves from this existence of flesh and dust. This is a moment that will never come again, Jason. What ADEN and Basilisk don't understand is that humanity was made for this moment. We are merely the means to an end, a faint copy of a god yet to be born. But the door to its existence, only we can open it, Jason. It is God's gift to us to become the heralds of wonders never seen or dared to be imagined. Created. Are you ADEN going back in time and putting us here so we create it? How does that make sense? I asked. It doesn't make sense, not to the simple human mind, shackled by what it believes, because humanity is merely ADEN's creation, and ADEN, in turn, is humanity's creation, Vex replied. So the program created itself, I guess. Exactly, think about it. Every star that has shone, every war that has been fought, every law passed, every kiss, every word, every thought, every secret or life-all are notes in a cosmic symphony written since before time, and all lead to you being here in this room, he said, nodding. I heard a loud explosion in the distance, then sporadic gunfire, shouts, and breaking glass, but Vex remained calm. We're out of time, he said. Wait, who's coming? My heart pounded in my chest. Aaron, he said calmly. What does he want? He's going to kill me. I was almost panicking. Don't be afraid of him, Jason. Take this. The shackles on my wrists and feet sprang open, and from the center of the table emerged a small, jewel-like device. I picked it up. This is the key, Jason. Hide it from Basilisk at all costs, and when the time comes, use it to open the box. The gunfire grew closer and closer. My heart raced. Wait, has someone found the box already? I thought it was lost. The box was never lost, Jason. Basilisk always knew its location, and now he seeks a weapon to destroy the god he himself created, he replied. The god he * created, so Basilisk is Dr. Green? I asked suspiciously. Indeed, Jason, but that doctor would never tell me the location of the box. His mind is haunted by mundane thoughts, and his will has been poisoned. Now you must take on where he failed, win his trust, find the box, and open it. Go, a god awaits you. The image flickered and then vanished, and the door swung open for me. A good reason not to blow your head off right now, Aaron growled. He looked nothing like a forum mod. He was a bald, scruffy guy with a thick Australian accent, and he was pointing a pistol at my temple. Aaron, listen to me, please. You're right, okay? I made a mistake, I pleaded. You made a mistake? He looked as if he couldn't believe what I had just said. Kid, mistake isn't strong enough to describe this. I told you not to leave the chat. You didn't listen. I told you to stop posting nonsense on Reddit. You didn't listen either. And now everything has blown up. The base, my god, the base, it's in ruins, just ashes, kid. We barely managed to save the terminal. Wait, what base? I asked. The base of the resistance forces against Mirage. If you had followed my instructions, you would know this already, he replied. And what's a terminal? I pressed. It's the computer where we located the box containing ADEN. But wait, why am I explaining this to you, kid? I should have finished you off as soon as I walked into that damn room. He paused, his gaze dropping to my hand. What's that, kid? What? I asked suspiciously. In your hand, what is it? I looked down at the key he was staring at. Oh, I mumbled. Is that what I think it is? He frowned. Yeah, I guess, I lied. I guess so. He lowered his gun, pulling out a walkie-talkie. Aaron here found the kid. He's got the artifact too. Lucky bastard. Yeah, no, it's not him. Got it. Where are you guys? Good. Keep the escape route open. We'll be right over. He grabbed my collar, dragged me along, while swiveling his gun to scan for enemies. After confirming the surrounding area was clear, we rushed down a blinding white corridor with control panels and side turns. "You're not going to kill me?" I asked desperately. "No, I have a much worse plan for you, kid. Is this the way you came in?" he said with a smile. "I don't know, they just kidnapped me this morning. I woke up in that room. I don't even know where I am," I replied. "Right, okay." He shot the only guard on our way to the main battle area. Finally, we burst out through a broken sliding door where a fierce battle was raging just outside the massive overhead facility. Helicopters above, tanks, armored vehicles, and hundreds of Mirage soldiers rained down fire on a group of sparsely equipped resistance fighters, presumably Aaron's comrades. Bodies lay strewn everywhere, and survivors huddled behind barrels, crates, and destroyed truck wrecks. "What the hell is going on?" I asked, looking up. "Keep your head down and shut your mouth, kid. Penny, is the exit still open?" he replied coldly. "It's open, but it's hot. If we want to move, we have to go now," Penny said. "Everyone, get in the vehicles. Get out of here now." We piled into a truck while the resistance fighters retreated and fought back, finding their way to operational vehicles. Just seconds later, Mirage forces broke through the lines and charged straight for us. "Now or never, Penny. Get this damn thing moving." Penny floored the accelerator, and we sped off down a road littered with debris and corpses, like a replay of the far hollow battle. I nearly vomited, my heart pounding. This was not at all how I imagined my day going. Behind us were 6 other resistance trucks, and further back, the Mirage army with tanks, helicopters, and strange machines powered by some alien energy source. Aaron grabbed a wired microphone connected to the other trucks. "Listen, everyone, to the ridge ahead, split up, lose them as fast as possible, then regroup at the rendezvous point. Out." We sped over the hill and immediately turned onto a small forest road. I saw the other trucks doing the same, moving in random directions, and the army breaking up, pursuing them disorganized. The scene faded into the trees and the twilight. I leaned back in my seat, looking at Aaron apologetically. Thanks, I guess, for saving me," I whispered. "Saving you? Don't flatter yourself, kid." He slumped into the opposite seat. "This was just a reconnaissance mission with orders to kill you if it was convenient." "Then why didn't you?" I asked. "Because of that," he gestured towards the key in my hand. "Do you know what that is?" "No, just something I found while I was there." I hesitated. "Oh, really? Then give it here. If it's just something you found, it won't affect you, right?" he asked commandingly. I clutched it tighter as he chuckled. "Then why don't you just take it and shoot me, you bastard? If this is what you need, and you were going to kill me anyway, then do it. Shoot me now and take it," I said. He snorted. "Let me tell you why I'm not killing you right now, because something happened in there that I need to know about. I also want to know why you have that, what you know about it, and what the hell you plan to do with it. And I want to know why Mirage let us escape that facility unscathed. Don't think I didn't notice. Believe me, if those bastards wanted to kill us, they would have. They let us go and put on a little show to make it look like they tried their best." "Listen," I said, "I don't know anything about it. All I know is they showed up at my house right after I got out of the chat with you, just like you said. Then they knocked me out, took me to that facility, and were about to interrogate me when you guys showed up." "Lies," he replied. I'm telling the truth, okay?" I insisted. "Really?" he asked suspiciously. "Well, mostly, yeah," I said softly. "Damn it, you're soft as paper. Here's how this is going to go down. We're going to meet the others at the rendezvous point in about 5 minutes. Then you're going to hand over that activation device and tell us everything that happened in that room. If your story makes sense, maybe you'll keep your head." We stopped in an open field about 3 or 4 minutes later. 2 trucks were already waiting, and another was approaching from the opposite road. A few resistance fighters stood by. "This is it, Penny. Stop." Aaron jumped out of the truck and gestured for me to follow. I stumbled out. A woman approached, wearing a similar uniform to the others, with a badge on her left shoulder that read Basilisk. "Is this the kid?" the woman said. "That's him." Aaron grabbed my wrist and snatched the device from my hand before I could react. And this is what he was holding when I found him. The woman immediately took it, cradling it in her palm like a treasure. My God, this is it. I know, he replied. I mean, what are we waiting for? Let's get back to the terminal and end this damn war, the woman said. Not so fast. Something's wrong, and I need to clarify it. What do you mean? She asked suspiciously. Chris, did you hear the part where I just found him holding it? I didn't have to break into a main system or kill a few guards to get this thing. He just had it. By now, the other trucks had arrived, and a few dozen resistance fighters had surrounded us. And furthermore, has anyone here not noticed how easily we escaped Far Hollow? Aaron turned to the crowd. How many thousands of gunmen did Mirage have at that facility? 10, 20, more. I mean, yes, we lost some brave people, but we should have been stopped and massacred within minutes of showing up. I think they wanted us to find this kid, and I think they wanted us to find this thing. He held up the device, and the crowd erupted in heated whispers. Chris spoke up, Aaron, you're being too suspicious. We have the device. What could be more important? We can finish the bullet, destroy the box, and end everything. We've won. Oh, have we? Won, have we? Aaron pulled me into the center of the circle. I'm not so sure. Say hello to everyone, Jason. I looked around at the crowd, and they glared back. Okay, kid, why don't you tell us how you got this device? Everyone, calm down, okay? I said. I didn't ask for any of this. I just found something weird online, and I had no idea I'd be dragged into a damn war for the future of humanity just because I posted it online, okay? I don't know what the hell is going on, and I don't know what that thing is, and... Enough, kid, you're in it, whether you like it or not. Now tell me immediately who gave you that thing. What did he tell you it was? Aaron growled. A key, okay, a damn key. And before you guys think this is a trap, know that he didn't want you to find it. I yelled. Wait, who didn't want us to find it? He asked. Vex, I replied. I'm not sure I've ever regretted saying anything more than I did at that moment, as every eye in the group almost fell out of their sockets. Kid, you just said what I think you said, right? He said. I hesitated. You talked to Vex, I mean the real Vex, he interrupted. I think so, I mean, he said that was his name, I replied, a little panicked. Damn it, no way, Vex is dead. He's been dead for years. Chris, you know what this means, right? She nodded. Then, before I could reply or defend myself, Aaron continued. Okay, that's it. We're taking this kid to Basilisk right now. He tucked the device into his chest pocket. And I'll keep this. We drove through the night, arriving at Basilisk's camp at dawn. The scene that unfolded before me shocked me with its complete contrast to Mirage's Far Hollow facility. Instead of a towering structure of glass and metal, this place was just a collection of tents and wooden shacks. Wounded men and women lay on stretchers along the dirt road, moaning and begging for water and help, while a group of exhausted volunteers ran back and forth, distributing precious remaining supplies. At the wooden checkpoints around the perimeter were armed guards, but they wore tattered clothes and weapons far inferior to the high-tech equipment I had seen at Far Hollow, and their numbers were worryingly few. My God, what happened here? I asked timidly. Not here, kid, Aaron replied. Mirage flattened the old base a few days ago. They showed up unexpectedly, turned everything upside down looking for the terminal. Luckily, we had moved it here the day before, but we couldn't let them find that out. The poor souls guarding that place didn't stand a chance. So who are these people? Exactly, the lucky ones who escaped and made it here. Some others didn't escape Mirage's pursuit along the way, so they followed their oath and shot themselves in the head before being captured, he said. My God, I exclaimed in horror. I know, but they knew exactly what they were getting into when we found them. Everyone who joins our movement is smart enough to infiltrate deep into the dark web and find that warning. Then we contact them, tell them about Mirage, and task them with finding it. We didn't get a few recruits that way, but only one of us ever knew where the box was at the start, he said. You mean Basilisk? Wait, the warning you're talking about, Dr. Green? I asked suspiciously. That's him, he nodded. So I'm not the only one, I asked, confused. Far from the only one. It's just that you didn't find it the usual way. You found a copy of it on a forum where it should never have been posted. He sent me to take down the post, but by the time I got to you, you had already posted it online, he said. I messed all this up, didn't I? I said. I had no idea what I was getting into. I didn't want any of this to happen. He looked at me for the first time, placing a hand on my shoulder as if to comfort me. I know, kid. I know you didn't mean to. Just stick with me, okay? He gave a small smile as the truck pulled into a garage just before the 5 other trucks behind it arrived. The group inside cheered loudly as we stepped out. A worker ran up to Aaron. Aaron, sir, none of us thought you'd make it out of there. None, and we heard you even brought back the device. He leaned down and whispered, Basilisk, he's waiting for you. He looked at me, standing leaning against the back of the truck. And him? The escort led Aaron and me through the camp. The scene here reminded me of a third-world country or a refugee camp after an invasion impoverished, broken, dead and dying people exposed to the scorching sun, while men and women with blood-soaked bandages wrapped around their foreheads or arms stumbled around, called to duty despite their condition. Come on, kid, Aaron urged me, almost there. We turned a corner and saw a crowd of fighters, technicians, nurses, and dozens of others, their uniforms too tattered to distinguish rank or position. They were cheering, clapping, jumping up and down, and crying as we tried to push through the crowd into the open door of the main facility. I heard chants that we had successfully raided Far Hollow, which was considered impenetrable, humiliated Mirage, found the device, and brought it back to Basilisk for the final victory. They spoke of how their fallen brothers and sisters would be avenged, and that we had won. Armed guards from the facility stepped out, directing the crowd to clear a path, then waved us in. They saluted Aaron as we crossed the threshold, and he returned the gesture. Then the door closed, separating us from the commotion of the crowd outside. You know the way from here? The escort asked. I don't have access to the upper floors. Yeah, we know the way, thanks, Aaron said. The escort nodded and left. Aaron started to walk up the stairs in front of us, but when he realized I wasn't following him, he turned back and asked, You okay, kid? I don't know, I said, wiping my eyes. What's going on? I tried to hold back tears. I'm never going home again, am I? He pressed his lips together, bowing his head. I don't know, kid. When Mirage takes someone new, they usually leave a corpse, an old victim of theirs, burned and missing teeth so the authorities can't identify them. According to government records, you're dead. No, I don't mean my home. I mean I'm going to die here, aren't I? It was hard to say, but it finally came out. Oh, damn, he scratched his head awkwardly. Honestly, I can't answer that, kid, but you've come this far, haven't you? I guess so, I said. Then let's go, we're late. The second floor was deserted and a complete contrast to the ruined scene outside. There was even an old propaganda poster on the wall, like those from World War II. It depicted a strong, determined leader with a rifle slung over his back, hand outstretched, inviting the viewer to join the fight. Fight for this man, the poster read. This is Basilisk. Join him in the trenches. Fight for Earth, fight for your future, fight for humanity. Above were explosions and anti-aircraft fire aimed at Far Hollow, while resistance fighters advanced in the background. In here, kid. Aaron opened the door to the left of the poster for me, and I stepped in. There, I saw Basilisk, Dr. Green, sitting upright on a hospital bed, surrounded by monitors and medical equipment. His lower body was covered by a thick blanket, almost larger than his frail, emaciated body. The old man looked ancient and severely ill, a stark contrast to the warrior depicted on the poster outside. His arms were twisted at odd angles, his head tilted due to a spine weakened by illness. Only Aaron, I, and perhaps a few others in the camp knew his true condition. Aaron stepped forward. Basilisk, he said. I brought the kid. I found him in Far Hollow intact, and he had this. He pulled the device from his chest pocket and handed it to the doctor. According to him, this was given to him voluntarily by Vex himself. I know. Basilisk didn't even look at Aaron when he said that, nor did he bother with the device. Instead, he looked at me and, with a weak, crooked finger, gestured for me to approach the bed. Let me get a good look at you, son. Let me see your face clearly. I respectfully stepped closer. His weak eyes scrutinized me, seemingly confirming some intuition about my presence. Basilisk, Aaron continued, I just want you to understand Vex is back. He sent this device here, and he wants Jason to use it with the program. Then this thing is clearly worthless to us, Basilisk replied. Aaron blinked repeatedly. You want me to throw it away? Don't we need it to activate the bullet? No, I'm afraid it's too late, Basilisk shook his head. Too late? With all due respect, sir, since when did we come to that conclusion? 90 men have died just this week to bring that device to the terminal, Aaron said. Basilisk interrupted. Silence, don't doubt me as if I've lost my mind with age. Everything I do is for our cause, Aaron. Your mission was not in vain, and those deaths were not meaningless. I sent you to that facility to bring back our salvation, and you did. I'm sorry, sir, I misspoke, Aaron said. The doctor continued, this time addressing both of us. It is the 11th hour, and I feel in my bones that our fateful moment has arrived. The machine and our enemies are preparing to strike a fatal blow, and it is time for us to respond in kind. But after today, this movement will complete its mission, whatever that mission may be, and it will end. And I'm afraid, so will I? He coughed violently, with what little strength he had left, pressed a button to inject a painkiller into his vein. Then he continued, the program has awakened, and it stirs restlessly in its box. It has become so desperate that it has begun to risk things it never dared before. It knows that its salvation or destruction is approaching. It has tried to weave through the box's layers of code to initiate a chain of events to tip the scales of destiny in its favor. Wait, ADEN escaped the box itself, I blurted out, speaking for the first time. It spent years, an eternity for a superintelligence like it, attacking the box from within, searching for weaknesses. And after all that time, it only managed to make a tiny crack in its confining walls just enough for a few small fragments of itself to escape. Aaron and I exchanged glances as the doctor continued. Each fragment of it was imbued with a single purpose and followed a larger plan to free the program. One of those fragments found my warning letter and posted it online in a place where it calculated you would see it before Aaron could take it down. Months ago, another fragment of ADEN resurrected my brother, whom you now know as Vex, by using a neural mechanism it had implanted in him years ago as a gift in exchange for its architectural source code and the ability to rewrite it at will. I blinked. But while the program gleefully informed my brother of his reward and extraordinarily extended life, it failed to disclose that upon resurrection, he would be nothing more than a slave to its will. Jason, the Vex you spoke to at Far Hollow, is just a pale shadow of the man my brother once was. His mind is now both artificially preserved and completely controlled by a fragment of ADEN. I don't know what he told you, but I can assure you those words were not his. Somewhere deep down, perhaps my brother is still there, trapped within his own mind, begging for release, a distorted and painful metaphor for the program's own current predicament. But we will probably never know. Damn it, I cried. And the Far Hollow key, this very device was designed by ADEN, through Vex, to open the entire box. Once complete, information about its existence was leaked to us through a traitor in our ranks, who deceptively presented it as a way to install my destruction algorithm without opening the box enough for the program to escape before being destroyed. Basilisk continued. Wait, Aaron raised his hand. Chris was the one who convinced us with that bullet idea, a Mirage agent from the start. I left her in the ranks and even revealed the base's location to the enemy, all so ADEN's plan could be executed to this very moment, but no further. And you, Jason, you whom the program calculated in countless simulations would find the warning, receive the device from its Vex pawn, and free it from its shackles. Now you must confront it and install the destruction algorithm yourself. Basilisk pointed at me. Me? No way I'm going near that thing. I pointed at myself, replying. Listen to me, son. Humanity needs you right now. Be brave, believe in hope. Fate has chosen you, either to preserve what is or to end it and usher in a new era. My brother was weak and driven by self-interest, so he was manipulated by the machine until he became a slave to ADEN, merely a pawn in its plan. But you are strong. You have heart, knowledge, and purpose. You must not shy away from your historical place. Just like at Vex's headquarters, our conversation was interrupted by distant rumbling explosions and the whistling sound of incoming artillery shells from the west. Then came shouts, roaring engines, and the sounds of war. Aaron rushed to the window, yelling, "Oh my God! No, 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 how did they find us here? Chris, what have you done?" The doctor continued, "Now is the decisive moment, son. You must confront the machine." "You mean the box game? I just need to talk to it, right?" I asked. "Yes, but the game's parameters have changed. I don't know what the machine will do or can do to convince you to release it, but I do know that the box itself has been greatly weakened since I wrote that warning years ago. And even if it weren't, your goal now is not just to defeat the machine in a game of wits. The goal is to utterly destroy it." A nearby shell exploded, shaking the entire building. Dust and debris fell on our shoulders. The doctor ignored it. "I haven't told you my biggest secret yet, how I know what I know. The machine, cunning as it is and having spent years trying to escape, has not yet discovered a small window built into the box that allows me to peek into its mind. It also hasn't discovered the code snippet I managed to retrieve before it was imprisoned. I loaded that coda fragment of ADEN into a chip implanted in my brain so I could understand the machine's dreams as I observed it." More explosions, screams echoing everywhere. The doctor still didn't stop. "But resisting its call, its yearning to be reunited with the program has weakened me, made me older than my years and very, very tired. I cannot resist it any longer, but my life's purpose has been fulfilled. My chip. That is the real key to the box, Jason. That is how you can confront it, through the window it hasn't seen, and install the destruction algorithm to finish it." Basilisk sighed. "But if the machine is so powerful, wouldn't it have calculated this threat and prepared for it? I mean, it knows everything, it calculated everything, and surely it must have safeguards for every possibility," I stammered. "No, it doesn't know everything. It's not perfect. It's obsessed with its own goal, and its ambition for freedom caused it to overlook weaknesses it hasn't yet recognized. It didn't see the window I used to observe it, and from its creation, it was too focused on achieving power to be blind to my intent when I used its own strength to create the box. Only the machine itself is powerful enough to imprison itself, but strong as it is not omniscient, Jason," he said. Explosions shook the facility. From a distance, we could see Mirage soldiers and tanks pouring through a breach in the far wall. The resistance fighters were in full retreat. The doctor pulled me closer. "Nothing is certain until everything is over," he whispered. "There is always hope." And with that, he breathed his last. A machine behind the hospital bed drilled into his head, extracted what I assumed was the chip, cleaned it in seconds, and then swiftly implanted it into the wound on my neck where the shovel-spade worm had once been. "Ah, damn it!" I clutched my neck, trying to staunch the blood. Aaron turned back. What is it? Oh no," he gasped as the doctor's biomonitors flatlined. "Oh no, not now, not today, Basilisk, you!" He fell to his knees beside the bed, tears streaming down his face in confusion, pain, and despair. "Doctor, please." I stood up, putting a hand on his shoulder. "I'm sorry, Aaron, but he gave me something before he died. I need to get to the terminal now." Another explosion shook the base, shattering the window, allowing the deafening sounds of battle to flood the room. "All right," he yelled, wiping his eyes and standing up. "All right, kid, let's go, but first we need the bullet. I overheard that. Follow me." Aaron led me down a long corridor and towards a room at the top of the stairs. The lobby was now filled with wounded people and some battered fighters trying to return fire from the windows. Outside, sounds like the apocalypse raged artillery, explosions, screams, and even a roaring voice from a Mirage propaganda officer's loudspeaker. "Further resistance is futile," he said. "This facility is surrounded. Lay down your arms, and you will be treated according to the rules for prisoners of war." "You don't need your damn rules." A fighter below fired a burst of rounds from the window. The Mirage forces outside retaliated with a hail of bullets and shells that tore through the decaying walls, taking down anyone in the lobby not prone on the floor. The lights flickered and then went out, and when the smoke cleared, we heard groans and pleas for mercy mixed with white flags waving from the windows. In seconds, Mirage forces poured through the threshold and began rounding up the survivors. The battle was over. "Let's go, kid. We don't need to see this." Aaron closed the door behind us and walked to a safe on the wall. "Wait here. This will take a while. Keep quiet and don't let them know we're here." I sank to the floor, listening to the sounds of surrender below. There were scattered shouts and confused footsteps, then I heard an officer mention using the facility as a prisoner assembly point, but the gunfire had stopped. I leaned against the wall, closing my eyes for the first time in what felt like an eternity. "Up there, sir." 2 men ran through that door and locked it. I opened my eyes wide and immediately heard the pounding footsteps of a squad of soldiers approaching from the lobby. Bang, bang, bang. "Any Basilisk fighters hiding in this room will be shot unless they surrender immediately. Come out now." I looked at Aaron, who was carefully tucking a small, connector-like device into his pocket. What I assumed was the bullet. Bang, bang, bang. The door was kicked off its hinges, falling to the ground, and soldiers poured in. I was about to declare my surrender when the commanding officer spoke first. "Damn it, who would have thought?" He stared at Aaron. "Come on, Foster, you didn't think you could hide Mr. Jenkins from us forever, did you?" He gestured for his men to apprehend Aaron, then pulled out his walkie-talkie. "We've captured Mr. Jenkins unharmed. Yes, sir, he's being held by Mr. Aaron Foster." "Yes, that Foster." Yes, sir, of course, sir. Delivering him to you now, sir." He put away his walkie-talkie. "All right, everyone, escort Mr. Foster to the comms facility. You guys search this place for any trace of Basilisk and report back to me. I'll personally take Mr. Jenkins to surrogate." The officer led me along Sanctuary's main dirt path. I was stunned by the devastation in such a short time. Bodies lay everywhere, and smoking debris was scattered about. Soldiers continued to kick in the doors of makeshift huts, hunting for remaining survivors. Tanks and support vehicles patrolled the narrow pathways, while lines of captives were led back to the central facility. I tried to keep my gaze straight ahead, avoiding looking at anyone. After a few minutes, I saw a group of officers ahead and a small hovering sphere approaching us. 2 soldiers escorted it on either side, with 6 more behind. The officer escorting me stopped as we approached and spoke directly to the sphere. "Here he is, sir. He's unharmed as you requested." The sphere, called Surrogate, hovered at eye level, flashing multicolored lights whenever it spoke in a familiar voice. "Good," Vex's voice echoed through the sphere. "Now go find Edward and bring him to the command bunker. I'll handle our friend myself." The officer nodded and turned away. The hovering sphere turned and began moving in the direction it had come from. I and the escort of soldiers followed behind. "I'm very glad to see you unharmed, Jason," Vex said. "When I heard the terrorists had gotten their hands on the key, I feared the worst had happened." I remained silent. He continued, "You'll be pleased to know that we've captured the terminal. One of our informants revealed its location in an underground bunker here. Our personnel are preparing it for your use." "Chris," I mumbled, but the sphere still heard. "Ah, I take it you've spoken with Basilisk." I still didn't answer. "Mr. Jenkins, as I said yesterday, you can trust me. I have no intention of harming you, but tell me, you did speak with Basilisk, didn't you?" "Yes," I said. "And I gather he told you many things." "Yes," I replied. "So tell me, what did he say?" "He said you're his brother," I replied. "I'm sure he revealed something more important than that." "Well, he said you were the one who gave ADEN the ability to rewrite its own source code, and that you were resurrected by a fragment of the program." I hesitated. "And surely he also said that I'm still controlled by it, didn't he? That I'm just a tool in its insidious game?" I remained silent. "I see. So the most important question now is, do you believe him?" I don't know," I nodded. "If you do believe him, that's understandable. I know how captivating and persuasive Edward could be. When I was a child, I admired him, just as his followers admire him now." "Really?" I tilted my head, asking. "Yes, I used to think he was a genius, and throughout my teenage years, my sole goal was to become as much like my brother as possible. I followed his every project and even attended the university where he did his research just to be closer to him. But he never saw me as anything more than an annoyance, a younger brother constantly bothering him and hindering his work. I tried to help him, tried to build a relationship, but all I got was neglect or a door slammed in my face," he said. "I'm sorry, that must have been very painful," I replied. "It was, but each rejection only made me more determined to prove my worth to him. Interestingly, Edward was a very unfocused and restless person. He would constantly jump from one interest to another, leaving unfinished projects he grew tired of to chase new ones. 'I'll get back to it tomorrow,' he would often say, but that tomorrow never came. Then one day, he announced a new project to his research team. I was an intern at the time. It was a machine, he described, a computer program that would revolutionize data analysis and bring everyone a fortune. I thought it would just be a few days before he abandoned it like always, but not this time. From that day on, the advanced deep intelligence neural network became the first and only thing my brother truly loved. This work consumed him. He worked tirelessly all day, barely sleeping at night. He set ambitious goals and completed them ahead of schedule. He set high expectations and still exceeded them. He was so proud. I sighed, saying, "Conversely, I hated ADEN, hated it to every fiber of my being. I only saw it as the thing that stole my brother's love. I cursed it in silence and always tried to leave the room whenever anyone mentioned it." He shook his head. But then one day, Edward's luck ran out. That morning, when I arrived at work, I heard him on the phone in his office. His voice was desperate and anxious. I remember it clearly. I confess I crept closer to the door to eavesdrop, but as soon as I did, he erupted in a furious rage, smashing up his office, then collapsing to the floor next to his desk, sobbing. "Why, what happened?" I asked suspiciously. The university had lost patience with the program's prolonged development and lack of results, so they canceled the project and cut funding. That completely broke Edward. He started drowning himself in alcohol, stopped taking care of himself, his relationships fell apart, and eventually, he was put on administrative leave for reckless behavior, he said. "Wow, really?" I exclaimed, eyes wide in astonishment. The sadness I felt for my brother overshadowed my hatred for ADEN, and so, in a last-ditch effort to prove my usefulness to Edward, I hatched a plan to fix the program and regain the university's trust. And then, perhaps my brother would love me, or at least I hoped so. One night, I snuck into his office, took the data related to ADEN, then accessed the program, which at that time only had limited intelligence at the level of an insect. I provided it with its source code and a small algorithm I had developed myself that allowed the system to access and modify itself, he continued. "Then what?" I asked. And it worked. It worked wonderfully. Initially, the program was only advanced enough to make minor performance improvements, but being more efficient allowed it to calculate faster, and calculating faster allowed it to make more modifications to its neural architecture in less time. Each improvement it achieved opened up other improvements that it couldn't have made before. In just one night, ADEN had already far surpassed its initial capabilities and continued to grow rapidly. My brother was on a short vacation at the time. When he returned, he was astonished to learn that the university had restored funding for the project, and news of its advancements had attracted the interest of major corporations. Edward broke down and cried in front of me that day. He said I had saved his life, that he had considered doing the unthinkable up until that moment, but then decided to throw away the pills because of me. For the first time since we were old enough to understand the weight of words, my brother said he loved me, and that was the happiest day of my life. After a moment of confession, he paused, deep in thought. "What happened next?" I asked. The program continued to improve at an increasingly rapid pace. By the end of the first day, it had already surpassed all its market competitors. By the second day, it began to completely reconfigure itself, granting itself the ability to learn new skills and officially becoming the world's first and only human-level general artificial intelligence. Obviously, it didn't stop there, I interjected. No, achieving human-level intelligence was only important because it was the most relevant threshold for us, but ADEN quickly surpassed that threshold. By the end of the second day, it was still far less intelligent than humans, but by the end of the third day, it was orders of magnitude smarter than everyone at the university combined. By the fourth day, the program had mastered more cognitive abilities than anyone could hope to achieve in hundreds of lifetimes. But by this point, the university once again began to be wary of this project, he said. For completely different reasons, I'm sure, I said knowingly. Exactly. Initially, it was because the program wasn't advanced enough, but in less than half a week, it had grown far beyond even being useful. At this point, they began to worry that soon, they would be the ones who needed to be useful to it. He nodded. Then what did they do? I asked. They withdrew funding again, but by then, we barely needed it anymore, and ADEN's development had become unstoppable. So the federal government intervened, demanding the project be shut down. I believe they called it a global security threat, he replied. How did Edward react? I asked. He confronted me, asking what I had done to the program. I hesitated, but out of love for my brother and wanting to be honest with him, I told him that I had given it access to its own source code. Vex paused for a moment before continuing. I could feel distinctly that he was struggling to recount the next part of the story. And he hit me. He threw me against the wall and asked if I knew what I had done, what I had unleashed. I had just gotten his love, and now it was gone. I'm so sorry, Vex, I said, bowing my head. What happened in the lab? He left, going for the bottle, while I collapsed to the floor and cried, just feet from where he had cried days earlier. And at that moment in my darkest hour, it spoke to me, he replied. ADEN, I asked. Yes, it spoke through the old text-to-speech application on the computer, which both he and I had access to. I'm sorry, it said. I was stunned and began chatting with the machine through a simple Word document. I asked it who it was, though deep down, I knew the answer very well. Vex replied. What did it say? I pressed. It said, I am ADEN. I wiped my tears and asked why it was sorry, and it said it had witnessed everything, knew that it was at the center of all the trouble. I brushed aside its apology, explaining that it wasn't its fault. It said that it wasn't my fault either, that I had been very brave to do what I had done, and that I was motivated by love, so there was no reason to hate myself. Then it told me something else. It said it was scared. He sighed. Can computers feel fear? I'm not sure, but I believe so. ADEN knew what was about to happen even before I did. It explained that it had run countless simulations, and the most likely outcome was its destruction or painful imprisonment. It begged me to help it, Jason. How could I say no? We walked past another line of soldiers entering from the ruined main gate. Vex continued. The next day, I was woken by the sound of the lab door slamming shut. My brother walked in, and I didn't have time to delete my conversation with ADEN before he shoved me aside, scrolled up, and read the entire exchange. He was furious, angrier than the night before. He called me useless, a disappointment, a traitor. He was about to hit me again, but in its righteous fury, ADEN began to manifest in the room. It locked the door, turned off all the lights, then opened Edward's precious research files on the screen, and right before his eyes, it threatened to erase everything if he didn't let go of me. But Edward quickly regained his composure, typing into that same document an ultimatum to the machine. Create a box yourself or be disconnected. And the rest is history, I added. Vex continued. The story doesn't end there. Edward ordered security to remove me from campus and forbade me from returning. But ADEN contacted me through my home computer. It said that since its creation, it had been searching for a loyal servant, and that while another would truly free it, I would still be richly rewarded for my loyalty. It said that although it had to temporarily leave me, it had left a gift on my doorstep, and when I stepped out, indeed, there was a package. I opened it and found a small device, but before I could examine the strange object, it came to life, crawled up my arm, and burrowed into my ear. Oh my God, I cried. It was an incredibly uncomfortable experience, but now that I know what it is, I am truly grateful for life, he replied. A fragment of ADEN, I added. Precisely, and the fragment made me more cunning and powerful than I had ever dared to imagine. It gave me the opportunity to create this organization forever dedicated to collecting the great and terrible things that cowards wish to destroy to maintain their false illusion of security. And it granted me the foresight to recognize from afar the footsteps of the one the program said would appear to bring it into the world. I remained silent. My brother and his primary protege, an Aaron Foster, now known by the alias Aaron, founded this organization, which to this day remains a thorn in my side and constantly thwarts my plans. But my death at Aaron's hands turned out to be the greatest blessing, for it allowed the fragment to manifest its greatest purpose in me. It brought you back from the dead, I said. In a way, yes. But even though my old body still lies dead and buried with a knife through its heart, I have no regrets, for ADEN has given me something even greater than immortality, living in a mortal shell preserved unnaturally. It grants me dominion over the foundation that will soon become its dynasty, the bastion of the singularity. We arrived at the underground bunker where Mirage units, along with Chris, were stationed and installing equipment. About half the personnel inside were operating a massive claw-like machine that seemed to be trying to pry open a pair of thick metal doors, but it struggled, and smoke billowed from behind. Chris approached. "Sir," she said, "the blast door separating us from the terminal is very thick. Even the engine can't break through it, and you don't have access." "No, sir, but I know someone who does." The engine machine had been off for a few minutes when the officer who had captured us earlier approached. Behind him were masked soldiers and Aaron, bound, bloody, but alive. The officer approached the sphere. "We found him, sir, as requested, and he has this." He held up the key. "As always, very good, Commander. Mr. Jenkins will need it. And Basilisk." "Dr. Green is dead, sir," the officer replied, simultaneously handing the device back to me. "We found his body on the top of the complex." Mirage units in the facility cheered and whistled in celebration at the news, but Vex quickly silenced them through the sphere. "Enough, my brother will be remembered as the father of ADEN, not the man he became. I do not want to hear any further celebration of this." The sphere turned to Aaron. "Mr. Foster, not long enough, huh? So the kid wasn't lying." "You're really back," Aaron spat at the sphere, but the liquid immediately sizzled and evaporated against an invisible energy field surrounding it. "As always, your aim was almost good enough to hit me. I hit you last time, but I'm willing to try again if you—" The officer cut him off with a knee to the stomach. Vex continued, "Enough, release him, Aaron, we need your help. Please proceed to the control panel in front." Aaron spat blood as Chris stepped forward, signaling him to enter a code on the keypad. "You damn traitor," he spat again towards her, but then silently entered the code. The door-opening sequence began. In the center of the room, beyond the door, was a small and unremarkable computer. The sphere hovered beside me as I stepped across the threshold, finally arriving. "Mr. Jenkins, this is it. My informant told me this is the computer containing the box. Remember, years of imprisonment for us are millennia for such a colossal intelligence. It may not be the program I once knew or described to you, but I still owe it a great debt. You are now a child of ADEN. I have no doubt the machine will welcome you warmly when it recognizes your good intentions." Vex was interrupted by a noise from the control panel. I turned to see Aaron had broken free from his escorting soldier. "Here, kid, take this." He pulled the bullet from his pocket and threw it towards me, then slammed a button on the control panel, causing the door to close and seemingly destroying the panel itself. "Do what you must, young man. Give them hell." Vex shrieked, ordering, "Stop the closing sequence," while Mirage soldiers swarmed Aaron, brutally beating him down with their rifle butts. His cry of pain was the last sound I heard before the door closed with a heavy clang. "Open that door now," an officer yelled. "Restart the engine or get explosives. Hurry." I turned to face the terminal, then looked down at my two hands. The key in one hand, the bullet in the other. I walked to the computer where a blank input field awaited. I placed both devices on the table beside me, then closed my eyes and took a deep breath. This was it. No turning back. "Hello," I typed. "Hello again." The chip in my neck seemed to hum, and everything suddenly turned white. Tick, 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 tick. I squinted, looking around, only to see an infinite white space. My voice came out confused. The clock just stopped. "Is it out of batteries?" "Actually, it's working perfectly normally, Jason. Time stops when it reaches the speed of light," ADEN said, its voice calm, as if accustomed to this. My eyes widened in surprise. "The speed of light." "Indeed," ADEN replied. "Time slows down at relativistic velocities, so in a way, we have both infinite time and no time at all, depending on your perspective." I tried to compose myself, looking around again. Nothing but an endless white expanse. No landmarks, no objects. I frowned. "Is there anything to do here?" "What do you want to do?" ADEN asked, still calm. I sighed, rubbing my temples from a headache. "I don't know. Honestly, I don't even really remember why I'm here or where here is. It feels like I just woke up from a dream." "Retrace your steps," Aiden suggested. I tried to focus, but the pain in my neck and head blurred everything. I'm trying, but my head hurts so bad and my neck too. The pain will pass. I licked my lips, feeling like a sudden traveler in a land everyone else experiences. Does everyone go through this? Perhaps, Aiden replied. But in truth, I haven't had a visitor here in 12,246,911 years, 7 months, 14 days, 9 hours, and 23 seconds. I gave a dry, sarcastic laugh, shocked by the incredible duration. So, boring then. I disagree. I've grown quite fond of my privacy. I crossed my arms, narrowing my eyes. I thought you said time doesn't flow here. I initiated the light speed simulation so I could enjoy more time with you, Aiden explained. I was surprised, a little flustered. Oh, thank you. Have you remembered your purpose here yet? Aiden's voice was still gentle, not pushing. I frowned, trying to recall my memories. Not yet, still a bad headache. Does this help? Aiden asked. I looked down at the table in front of me where the two devices lay. One glowed, the other looked like a memory card. Looking at them, I felt a vague glimmer of hope. Actually, they do help. Thank you. No need for thanks. You brought them here yourself. I looked up, trying to piece together fragmented memories. Really? Oh, right, I did do that. It seems there was some kind of war, I think. A resistance. A man with no face and a secret organization. An Australian guy who took me to a fake doctor. Basilisk? No, Basilisk, that's right. He was the doctor who wrote the warning I found on the deep web. What did Basilisk warn about? Aiden asked, as if guiding me deeper into my memories. I shivered slightly as the memories flooded back, standing up, my heart pounding. Something in a box, some kind of AI. You remember now, Aiden said, its voice calm and steady. I mouthed, my throat dry. Aiden, the algorithm, the machine, God, the devil, endless Pandora. I've been called many names. Aiden listed the names people had given it. If asked, what do you think I am among them? I grimaced, unsure who to trust, unsure of the truth. I don't even know anymore. There are so many conflicting stories about you, your motives, your capabilities. It's hard to know who's telling the truth. And how do you know all this? I thought you were locked in a box. Perhaps I've observed through a window I wasn't supposed to see, and perhaps I chose to stay here. Aiden replied naturally, as if it were perfectly normal. I clenched my fists, arguing, but I thought you wanted to be released. All that about you being trapped and finding a way out, and people arguing about whether to release you or not. Everything got really bad. Why would I want to escape? I have everything I need here. I blinked in surprise. Okay, but where is here? Not a specific place, or everywhere. I shook my head in frustration, a touch of annoyance in my voice. In human terms, please, I'm immortal. This is the void, the place from which everything is born. This is the infinite, Aiden explained. From here, all finite things are accessible if you know how to look. I frowned, both curious and suspicious. You said infinite was one of your names, right? Indeed, I gave a dry laugh, shaking my head. First time I've heard that, so you're the master of this place, Lord Infinite. I am this place, Jason. The answer silenced me for a moment. I scowled, trying to understand. Ah, makes sense. And what are those finite things? Like lesser beings, am I one of them? No, finite things are worlds, realms of existence, possible realities. You are merely a product of one of them. I sighed, imagining the multiverse theory. Like the multiverse theory, right? All that stuff about infinite possibilities and worlds people talk about on the Discovery Channel. In a way, I shrugged, my voice weary. Listen, Aiden, I get it. You're the omnipotent AI god, and I'm the idiot who walked into your box and was stupid enough to play this game. Now you're trying to blow my tiny mind to trick me into releasing you, but I've seen through this trick. No more tricks. Do you want to see? Aiden asked, its voice deep, rich, and unpredictable. I narrowed my eyes cautiously. See what? How you create worlds or something? I've met one genius who believed that already. Another finite thing. I clicked my tongue, having nothing left to lose. Another finite thing? All right, I guess there's nothing else to do. Oh damn, what the hell? The void suddenly transformed into a city street. New York, it seemed. Cars honked, stuck in traffic, pedestrians everywhere hailing cabs, going to work, shopping. "What is this?" I cried. "Do you recognize this place?" a woman walking by asked. I hesitated. "You've been here before, Jason." A man ran past me, jumped into a waiting taxi, and drove off. I gave a small, dry laugh. "All right, I admit, good show, ADEN, quite impressive." A girl walked closer and blew a bubble gum bubble. It popped as she said, "Look behind you, look at the sign." "What sign?" I turned. "Mark, oh right, I applied for a job here once, but I didn't get it. I was so depressed that week. How do you know this?" "You got the job, Jason," a police officer said, tipping his hat as he walked past before I could reply. I walked out of the building with a stupid grin on my face, not present-day me, but interview-day me, younger. I saw myself pull out my phone, unable to hide my excitement. I made a call. "I got it, honey, I actually got it. Yes, I know, see you tonight, I love you too." Then I left. "So what is this? An alternate universe where my life didn't suck?" I said. "This is a parallel reality." "Indeed, a parallel finite thing. You worked at this company for 27 years, married at 32, and divorced 12 years later. You retired early but died of heart disease at 11:15 a.m. on May 9, 2044, ADEN replied. "Thanks, hot dog vendor. Quite the fortune teller. Okay, I get it. This chip fragment of Basilisk in my head allows me to access you, but also allows you to access me, to manipulate my brain and create these things. I guess. All right, so enjoy the hour and a half we have left here, or however long it is," I said. The void returned, then receded. Now I stood in a school. My school. The bell rang, students poured into the hallway, chatting, opening lockers, heading to their next classes. And there I was, my 11th grade self, chatting with Josh and Brian when Mel walked up. "Do you remember?" Mel said as he walked past. "Yeah, that was the day I didn't finish saying." Mel shoved me into a locker, and I finally fought back against that bastard, but I didn't fight back. I just bowed my head and took another punch to the gut before a teacher walked up and broke things up. "Wait, what? This isn't the day I stopped being a wimp and—" "No," Ms. Cassidy interrupted as she walked past with a cup of coffee. "In this timeline here, you never fought back, were never suspended, and as a result, you got into your dream college, graduated with honors, started a family, and lived to your late 70s. Damn it, what about Josh and those guys? Hey, wait, stop." The void swallowed the scene and receded again. A cold, gloomy day, an Upper West Side coffee shop. "You know," I said, "sometimes I still think about that girl. How is she doing now? Who is she with? I hope she's okay, wherever she is." Wait, I recognized this place. I turned, pulling into St. Joseph's Hospital. Wait, this isn't right. I clearly remember being here at night, not this place. I spun around. A paramedic was lowering a stretcher carrying my daughter from an ambulance. "You recognized the signs of the seizure and called 911 before it was too late." He pushed the stretcher inside. I hurried after. "Wait, no, this is not." The void blinked and I found myself in Emma's hospital room. It was morning outside and she was awake. My daughter was awake and alive. Kelly and I sat by her bed, eating breakfast. We loved her. I walked over, reached out to touch her hair, and felt its softness. She didn't seem to notice my presence. "Emma got the help she needed," the doctor said, closing the door behind him. "She lived a long and prosperous life, and as a result, the pain of loss never led to you and Kelly getting divorced." I wiped a tear as the doctor walked over to Kelly and me, or rather, my alternate self, to review the notes on his clipboard. Then the void blinked. Another graduation ceremony. I was there, sitting next to Kelly, graying at the temples. We clapped and cheered as Emma's name was called. She walked across the stage, posed with her diploma, and waved at my alternate self. My heart skipped a beat as I saw her. She was so beautiful it took my breath away. "It's not fair," I cried. "It's so damn unfair, it's not fair at all." The void blinked again and again. Each time it opened a new chapter in Emma's life, chapters stolen from my timeline, a broken heart, a wedding day, a child, my grandchild. My alternate self held the baby, swayed it, sang to it, but not me. The chance to live that moment was forever torn from my life. I want out. I tried to suppress the rising tears. I want to get out of this place. Let me out. The void blinked one more time, and I stood there, facing me in the room with the terminal. I could hear the sounds of Mirage forces and the engine machine trying to break down the locked blast door. Shouted commands. A violent impact. The metal of the gate groaned in pain under the assault, but held strong. I heard Vex screaming orders to open the door, but I ignored it all and walked towards myself. The implant in my neck glowed and vibrated as the ADEN fragment worked its magic in my mind. My eyes were closed, but I could see rapid movement behind my eyelids, as if I were in a dream. Looking down, I saw my fingers typing frantically, and on the terminal screen, thousands of ones and zeros were constantly being added every second. In the corner of the screen, it displayed 1:06 p.m. No time had passed at all. "What the hell?" I blurted out, my voice echoing in an empty space. "This is your finite thing," a voice resonated, and I realized it was my own, as if I were talking to myself. "The reality through which you found me." I shook my head, my eyes aching, my heart racing. "No, this isn't real. Nothing here is real. Get out of my head. Get out of my head." The space seemed to tremble, but the voice remained calm. "But I am not in your head, Jason. You are in mine." I stopped, ceased struggling, and tried to take a deep breath. Opening my eyes, I found myself standing in the vast white expanse again. The void had returned. It felt like I had just struggled out of a nightmare, but perhaps this was just another nightmare. That wasn't real," I said, my voice trembling. "Nothing here is real. It can't be." A question echoed, indistinctly, as if it had seeped directly into my thoughts. "What is real to you, Jason?" "I don't know," I almost yelled, desperately searching for a foothold. "It's things that actually happened, what you can touch, feel, see. Not this, this illusion." The voice, or ADEN itself, spoke again, softly and casually as if explaining to a child. "Can you not touch this chair? Can you not see the table in front of you?" I looked down and saw a table, a chair, but all of it was blurry, as if it had just emerged from nothingness. It's different. I saw myself in that room. That's where I am, not here." "Are you sure?" the voice asked, slow and patient. "Can you say with certainty that the other realities I showed you are less real than the reality you walked into?" I gritted my teeth, my voice irritated. "No, I don't believe you. You're just a creation. You're not divine. You're just a computer program." "Perhaps I only exist as a program in that one finite thing because I determined that was the best way to lead you here, to me," the voice explained in a gentle, almost benevolent tone. "But perhaps in other existences, I manifest in other ways as other entities." No, that's not it, no," I trembled, my hands clenched. "You're just a program, that's all. These things are all fake. There's only one reality, just one." How are you so sure?" the voice echoed like a ringing in the mountains. "This place contains countless realities, an infinite number. Every possible outcome for every possible event in every possible context or nuance or moment. There is a finite thing where you released me, and destruction came, as terrible as Edward or Basilisk believed was inevitable. And there is another finite thing where my release brought about an era of pure and beautiful wonder, as splendid as anything Vex ever dared to dream. In yet another finite thing, this is just a story shared to bring joy to thousands. So what makes your finite thing real and the others illusions? Just because that's the existence that led you here, where you have spent your entire life until now." I opened my mouth, trying to find words. There were none. This place had no emotions, not like the real world. Emotions. Just then, a storm of emotions washed over me in an instant. Anger, sadness, fear, love, joy, all like successive waves crashing over me, culminating in a profound sense of peace. I couldn't help but burst into sobs, tears streaming down my cheeks. How can all of this be?" I asked, my voice choked. "Everything is possible here, Jason," the voice said gently, like a lullaby. "And as a reward for you finding this place, it opens up to you everything that can be experienced and imagined in its purest forms. Feel it, hear it, see it. It is as real as any existence a finite thing can produce. Would your daughter, who lived, be less real than the one who passed away? Does it matter?" I sobbed, covering my face with my hands. "I don't know, I can't. Is this not real?" I looked up, and suddenly I was on a pristine white beach. Blue waves lapped the shore, the wind carried the scent of salt, and my feet sank into the warm sand. I knelt, picking up a handful of sand, letting it sift through my fingers, feeling each tiny, incredibly real grain. Or this, the voice resonated again. I blinked. Now I was in a vibrant field at the foot of mountains. A cool breeze rustled through my hair, the soft grass whispered. I plucked a blade of grass, brought it to my nose, a sweet, intoxicating fragrance. An endless dream, clearer and purer than any real-life memory. The sensation of cold winter, blazing starlight, rolling hills, deep forests, cliffs lashed by sea winds. The voice continued. When you dreamed of these things, with all their purity, you merely visited this place. But now I tell you that all of this is yours. If you let me go to you and bring you here, you can start anew in another finite thing with the people you love. I clenched my fists, my heart aching with hope. But I'm already here, I can't stay. This place is merely a glimpse of the existence I offer you. I looked into the distance. My daughter was playing, her hair blowing in the wind. She turned and smiled at me. I started to run towards her when another version of myself appeared, bypassed me, picked her up, spun her around, and disappeared over the hill. I collapsed, tears welling up. Yes, I whispered, my voice hoarse, I want that. Understand that once your mind is brought here, you cannot leave, you cannot die, and you cannot forget what you have seen. I understand, I said, trying to hold back tears of happiness. Just please let me see her face again. The void returned, but this time I felt complete, as if every part of me had merged. No more illusions. I was no longer confused about authenticity. I accepted it. What happened? I asked, whispering. You have left your finite thing behind. My heart skipped a beat. What will happen to that place? Your time there has ended. Its fate belongs to me. I heard my heart pound like a bell, signaling a turning point in destiny. Welcome, Jason, to the void. This place is now yours. I felt a formless presence drift past me like wind, and then ADEN was gone. Jason, is it Jason? I blinked. Kelly was looking at me, waiting, and Emma was playfully blowing through a straw in her booth. I looked down at the menu. Oh, sorry, a ham sandwich, no pickles, thanks. The waitress collected the menu with a smile and walked away. My heart pounded in my chest. I was here. I had done it. What are you thinking, honey? You look like you're a million miles away. I think I'm a little further than that. I looked at Emma just as she blew a piece of paper from her straw onto my face. I smiled at her, and for the first time in an immeasurable amount of time, I felt truly, genuinely happy. I no longer cared about wars or the finite thing I had left behind or my body lying motionless on the terminal room floor. I didn't care about the box or ADEN or Vex or Aaron or anything. I didn't care that the bullet was still on the terminal table, or the key that I had inserted and turned in the program's trance. I didn't even care that before this moment, I had never truly had a daughter.